Welcome, everybody, to the best betting show ever. I'm Lawrence Presman. We've got a very frustrated Joe Ranieri with us, and, of course, Bryan Power, who's had to listen to the two of us bicker for the last 3 minutes. Welcome to the show. No NBA today, tons of baseball, and a whole lot of NHL. We also have the Masters recap. Brian, did you watch it?
I watched a little bit of the Masters, yes. I'm just glad the team getting along here on a Monday. That's all I care about, you know.
What did you say?
I said I'm just glad the team's getting along on Monday. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
Hey, listen,
it's early yet there, BP. We haven't gotten around to your shit yet either, so hold on. Yeah, we'll be there in a minute, too.
Yeah, Joe woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, everybody. And when I say the wrong side of the bed, I mean the bathtub. Anyway.
He might have fallen off the bed, Prez. Yeah. I mean, you were good. Yeah.
The only guy in the world that fell out of the bathtub while sleeping for the night.
Oh.
Joe Ranieri, everybody.
Good thing I can hold my breath. Holy shit.
So, weekend recap, boys. I watched a lot of Masters. Other than that, I had a very small amount of bets for my clients. I'm finding, with NBA winding down and NHL is just impossible to bet right now. So, yeah, it was a small weekend for me. Joe, how did you do?
Well, I can't. I'm so thankful the NBA regular season is over, because if I got to tolerate any more of that grossness, it's I'd quit the sport altogether. But it should be interesting starting tomorrow and then Wednesday with the play-in games. And then, the real fun will begin here towards the weekend in the association. But baseball has been rolling, so that's been a lot of fun. Yep. And another card today with a lot of aces on the mound. It's going to make it interesting.
Yep, to say the least. Bryan Power, how's your baseball season going so far?
It's been up and down. It's been great with totals. Sides have been up and down. We had a nice underdog winner on Friday with the Rays, but I lost the two sides I gave out yesterday. But totals, I'm 100% with totals. Won them all in April. So that's good. And then, like you guys, just to echo the sentiments here, I guess this is just what everybody's probably saying on Monday. I'm glad the NBA regular season is over. Crushed it in the playoffs last year. Looking forward to doing that again this year. But soccer, for me, was the key over the last 7 days. 6-0 with soccer bets over the last 7 days. And so 3-0 weekend on the pitch. So that carried me over the week.
Good time to heat up. We got the World Cup around the corner. Soccer in full swing. We got a lot of talented soccer bettors over at WagerTalk. Guys, stay with us all the way through to the end. We got a lot of bets coming your way. We're going to take apart all four play-in games real quick. We got our parlay of the day, our predictive market segments, and all of the rundowns. Joe, let's start with you. Tuesday, April 14th, Portland +4 against Phoenix, a total of 217. Miami in Charlotte. Charlotte is -5.5, a total of 228. Any immediate bets jump out at you?
Well, I thought it was funny because the line opened up with Miami and Charlotte 5.5. It was bet up to 7.5 within an hour of that game being over yesterday. And then cooler heads prevailed and realized you got a extremely experienced Miami team taking on a very inexperienced Charlotte team. And given Miami 7.5 points with Spoelstra is probably not the best thing. I'm even seeing maybe a 5 or 2 starting to pop up here.
Yes,
so I think that's what it comes down to. Do you believe experience matters in a game like this? Because if you do, I would take the points in a heartbeat. They have not been great the final month of the season, but what the hell, when you're experienced, Prez, what the hell, the same thing in the NHL, what the hell difference does current form make if you understand what the, two equal teams play one another? The team with the experience tends to understand the moment a little bit better.
I mean, Brian, we haven't had the opportunity to put this theory to test, but my guess is betting against Charlotte in a playoff game is likely a good idea.
Well, in all due respect to Joe and his neighbors, I'm going to be rooting for the Hornets because back in January, Zeno and I gave out the Hornets 5-1 to make the playoffs. So I'm rooting for them just to win. I concur with my colleague, Mr. Ranieri, that I would not want to lay it with the Hornets here. Two reasons. He brought up the experience. That's obviously, you're going to hear a lot about that over the next 24 hours. Number two, the style the Hornets like to play, as you guys know, they like to get up and down in transition. Anyone who's watched any playoff basketball their entire life knows the games are not played up and down, a lot of transition. So I do worry about the Hornets, a team that has not qualified for the playoffs proper in 10 years. I'm more interested in those 7-10 games, though. Very interesting. You talked about Portland Phoenix is Tuesday. Now, normally both 7-10 matchups are played on Tuesday, is the way they work with the play-in. But in the case of the Eastern Conference, Philly and Orlando had to get bumped back a day because there was a commitment. Prez, the NHL's Flyers already had a home game scheduled Tuesday, so the Sixers can't host till Wednesday. The 7th seed historically, Joe, has been a huge advantage. Every team seeded 7th has advanced out of the play-in tournament. So that's a nod to the Sixers. But this Sixers team is very tough to handicap. 2 reasons. Embiid, what's his status? And number 2, this is crazy. The Sixers this year against winning teams
are nuts.
18-33 straight up. Yep. That is by far the worst of any of the teams still playing in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and no one would have saw that coming, says Prez sarcastically.
Yep.
The Clippers and Golden State, Phoenix and Portland. Joe, you have any thoughts there?
I listened. The most fascinating one is Portland and Phoenix, because I think those are two teams that were undervalued all year. They weren't expected to do anything. I mean, Portland's coach got arrested for running an illegal poker game and all this. I mean, it's been a hell of a year for the Portland Trailblazers. But, you got to appreciate a team that down the stretch had to win some games, and they did against teams that are very similar to them. And listen, Phoenix, nobody had Phoenix making the playoffs. They thought this was a rebuild year. So both these teams have done a fantastic job. I don't think either of them, whoever advances, is getting out of the first round anyway. But I do think that if there's an under on the board, this is the game where you're going to get a total rock fight here. And it's already, 218 and a half. Prez wouldn't shock me if this thing closes 215 before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it bet to the under. Bri already mentioned 217 and a half out there now. Okay, so
which is low.
Look, yeah, Bri.
Yeah, I want to talk about this Clippers Golden State matchup that we've got, the 9-10. Obviously, these teams have to, the way the 9-10 works, most of you know this, you got to win not just this game, but then you got to win, you got to beat the loser of the 7-8 matchup on Friday. But I liked the Clippers in this matchup against Golden State, even before Steve Kerr last night made one of the most shocking admissions I've heard a coach say going into the playoffs ever. Did you catch this, Joe? Kerr said there's going to be a minutes restriction on Curry, Horford, and Porzingis on Wednesday. None of them are going to play more than 40 minutes. The season's on the line. Why are we doing, a minutes restriction in a do-or-die game? That's crazy to me. Is Golden State just saying we would rather play? I know you guys mentioned the Masters at the top of the show. Is Golden State just making tea times? Or are they done with this? What is going on here?
Yep, and he's muted. That's also the
NBA basketball. Hey, I had a cough. Stop bothering me.
I think that's the game that's moved the most, though, hasn't it? Because it was 3.5 at the Lookahead.
Yes.
And what is it now?
5.
And now it's 5. So, as soon as he opened his mouth, he moved the line 2 points. Yeah. As soon as he told everyone Steph's not playing any more than 8 minutes, everyone's like, I'll take the Clippers.
Yeah, I wonder if they go to double
arguably better
overtime.
than Phoenix and Portland.
Won't play. Neither will play. Listen, Porzingis is lucky to actually even play in the game at all, much less he ain't going to play 40 minutes. But, I think the Clippers have, and the Clippers are home, so I get it. But I still wouldn't lay 5 with the Clippers.
Yeah.
No.
As you watch, go ahead.
No.
They had a chance to be the 8th seed, and they kind of really blew it. I was surprised that, credit, like you were saying, Joe, a moment ago, credit to Portland for stepping up, and at least they have 2 chances now to make the playoffs because, on paper, the Clippers, I actually have them power rated ahead of both Phoenix and Portland, but games aren't decided by power ratings on paper. You got to win them on the court.
There we go. Guys, stay with us. A lot still to come. Let's get to our parlay of the day. I'm going to start with the Dallas Stars in regulation at minus 110 against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's around minus 120. The Dallas Stars in regulation against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Brian, what do you got?
I'm going to go to Major League Baseball. Rangers A's over 8.5. Why do I like the over in this game, guys? Well, for starters, game's being played in Sacramento. The A's have played strangely only one home series so far in their temporary home park, which is, of course, a minor league field. About 800 runs scored in that 1-3 game series. It was actually 48 to be exact, but still, that's an average of 16 runs per game, if my math is correct there, Joe. And Severino, who's on the mound for the A's, his home versus road splits last year were insane. An ERA over 6 at home versus around 3 on the road. He struggled his first home start this year, sure enough. And Eovaldi, who's starting for the Rangers, he's made 2 road starts so far this year. Allowed 11 runs and 8 2/3. I'm surprised his totals sitting at 8.5. We all know 9 is a key number when betting MLB totals, guys. I don't want to say just blindly bet the over when these games are being played in Sacramento, but 8.5 is too low for this matchup, in my opinion.
Joe Ranieri,
it was 9, BP, which is crazy because it was 9. It opened 9, and you woke up this morning and it was bet down to 8.5, and you're going.
Which I don't know what to make of that. We talked about it on the morning wagers, and I said, well, that was
listen, it's not 90 degrees in Sacramento yet. I think it's only 60 degrees there, but it's still a minor league ballpark where check swings can fly out. So I don't get it. And Severino hates pitching there, so I'm kind of with you. I also don't think there's going to be a ton of runs scored with Boston and Minnesota. And I would look at the under there. Ober has been very good against these Red Sox hitters. And we all know Crochet is not going to give up a ton here. But, I think the under 7.5 is worth a look in that game.
There we go. And that is our parlay of the day. Guys, make sure to comment. I'm going to start the mailbag section up again tomorrow. Art DeCesar will be joining us. Bri, are you hanging out with the predictive market segment?
Oh, sure. Why not? If you guys were kind enough to have me, I'll.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Joe, let's get to the predictive market segment. Well, then we'll do some business and get to the rundowns.
All right, so let's talk about the NBA, because now would be the time to utilize the predictive markets in the futures aspect of it. And one of the big questions I get, and this is one of the markets I really like, is who is going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, BP? Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Boston versus Cleveland? Is it going to be Detroit versus Boston? Is it going to be the Knicks versus Cleveland? Now, depending on which side you're on, this is going to be interesting because Cleveland has got Toronto and then eventually Detroit and then could get into the conference finals, right? So you either have Boston on one side, Cleveland on the other, or Detroit. So it all depends on who you think makes it to the finals here. The Knicks screwed themselves by not winning that game and now are going to have to go through Boston at some point along with Atlanta, and I don't know that they do that. But I don't know. I think anything with Cleveland is going to make you money because right now Boston-Cleveland is 33 cents. You only need one of those teams that, you know what I mean? If both of those teams can get to the finals.
Okay.
I'm going to pretend, Joe, that you asked this question specifically because I was on, that you thought, because me living in Cleveland, that's what's behind this. Yeah, I like Boston and Cleveland as the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what my pick. I think Cleveland, I've been arguing with my dad for weeks. He gets very upset when the Cavs are phoning in, and I said, Dad, they're playing for the 4 seed. The Cavs' dream scenario is to get the 4 seed and for Toronto to be the 5. And it was crazy how things.
Why is that their dream scenario?
I think the Raptors are the worst team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they are the
Cleveland 3 times in a row.
But that
Cleveland
was like early on, though.
Yeah. Those games were played in 1822. I think. Right. If you go back and look, they were in all seriousness. They were played before Thanksgiving. Cleveland sat guys. There was no Harden. I like Cleveland's path here. I think that it's funny, Joe, because you remember last year Cleveland was the 1 seed. Got upset by the upstart Indiana, And now they can kind of turn the tables here. It
Yep.
feels
Great
like
point.
Detroit's a vulnerable 1 seed, in my opinion, all due respect to the WagerTalk home office. I don't know. I think this broke right for Cleveland with Orlando inexplicably losing to Boston last night. So, yeah, Cavs Boston to me, I agree with what the predictive markets are saying, that is your most likely Eastern Conference Finals matchup. And the Celtics have revenge against the Nets. Look, I like the Celtics a lot to win the East. I think they're the rightful favorites here.
I also think it makes sense because Boston and Cleveland are going to win their first round series. And if they do that, this Prez, goes from 33 to.
I agree.
You know what I mean? I don't necessarily. I just need both of these teams to win the first one and then look like they've got a shot at some point in that second series to get to the finals. And no matter what happens at that point, I think you can have enough of a profit to be able to cash out. And that's the point of that market. And that's the point of all of these markets.
And it makes total sense, Joe. I love it. We're going to be doing the exact same thing in the NHL.
The NBA.
I mean, the poly markets, guys, they are best suited for quick in and outs. They are perfectly suited for, can I make 10%, 20% of my money over a week period, a 2-week period. That's how I would use the poly markets. And I think ultimately, if you listen to us during these segments, it's just pure freaking gold. I mean, I came on here and told you guys that the Carolina Hurricanes were going to win the Eastern Conference. I think it was plus 700 or something at the time. Here they sit at the top. I told you guys that Winnipeg would make the playoffs at 9%. Yeah, I was wrong, but they got up to 20%, exactly as predicted. I told you guys that Vegas Golden Knights would win the division with Edmonton and Anaheim like 3 weeks ago. Here they sit. So this is not about holding tickets. This is about double your money, get the hell out. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Well, and look at this. You got the Western Conference champion. I've already bet Denver. I'm locked in here to Denver. I actually got a better price on here. And I'll tell you, for the same reason.
Makes total sense.
Because by San Antonio shitting the bed last night and deciding they didn't need to play, now San Antonio's at the side of the bracket where not only will they have to end up beating Denver, but then they'd have to go to OKC and beat them as well. So instead of getting the side of Houston, which also is a pretty good bet given the fact that their path to a possible championship game doesn't include having to go through them. I mean, Denver, all I need them, Prez, is to get through, and we're good to go, and get it to the finals there, and we're good to go. But Denver, it's San Antonio, good luck. That means you've got to bounce Denver and OKC out in order to be able to make to the finals, and I don't think they're going to do that there, BP.
No, I thought you talk about San Antonio and the result yesterday. I thought Oklahoma City were big winners. Obviously, we talk about getting in and getting out with these markets. The price isn't great on Oklahoma City, but I think Oklahoma City's got a pretty clear path to the conference finals. To be honest with you, I don't think they're afraid.
I agree.
Whoever comes out of that Rockets-Lakers series should not scare them. So I don't want to say just go ahead and pencil the Thunder into the conference finals. A lot could happen, but I would be quite frankly, astounded if the Oklahoma City Thunder were not one of the last 4 teams standing. And I think San Antonio is an interesting potential matchup there in the conference semifinals. If you like Denver, you see on your screen right there that 14%.
That's the way to go, I think.
That's a good number that you're getting right there. And remember, San Antonio's not battle tested. I know everyone's going to talk about San Antonio's record against the Thunder, but it's been a while since they've won a big playoff series, obviously.
And that's interesting, Bri, because you have a similar situation with, say, the Buffalo Sabres in NHL. Being a team that could win it all. Same with the Ottawa Senators, the Montreal Canadiens, and they're all going to have to go through Carolina and Tampa Bay, which are battle tested. The converse argument to that, though, is teams like Buffalo and San Antonio are so not ready that actually might allow them to play looser, freer, and it's those middle teams like Carolina Hurricanes or like, a team like Cleveland or Detroit Pistons, where there are expectations, everything is prepared.
Yep.
I'm more worried about those teams than the teams that are coming in with zero experience and can play pretty loose.
I agree.
My one caveat, though, Joe, I'll bring up to Denver is San Antonio is not going to get eliminated in the first round. Denver could get a test from Minnesota. I think Denver would have. I think they would have rather played Houston or the Lakers in the first round. Denver.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, if I'm San Antonio, I want to win that game last night and then have Denver and OKC beat the crap out of one another, and then I can meet them for there. But since they didn't do that, now you're going to have to not only go through Denver, and you can't stop Jokic and the backups. I don't know what the hell you're going to do when you got to play them in a series. Yeah, you just made it that much harder for a young team to have to go. And listen, if they can beat Denver and OKC in consecutive rounds, then just crown them. Give them the damn championship because nobody is stopping them. But I don't see them getting past Denver this year. I really don't.
Guys, we got to keep this show moving. Let's get to some Bitcoin.
Yep.
Mark Moss. Mark Moss, a Bitcoin strategist, believes that Bitcoin could get to $45 million each by 2050. I'll take the under if Kelsey has that available.
I'm just trying to get to 5 o'clock. I mean,
as far as today goes, I'm going to go with over 72,000 at 46. So that's 51 cents to the yes.
Even money.
Over 72,000. That's all I got on Bitcoin.
Yep.
Brian, what do you got to promote? Some business time, and then we'll say goodbye. Thanks for doing this, brother.
Not a problem. Yeah, like I mentioned at the top, soccer been great, guys. 6-0 the last 7 days. Number 1 over the last 7 days on the pitch. Number 1 the last 2 years in soccer. Up over 50 units with all soccer play. So hopefully we'll have something on the Champions League. Maybe we'll do the $5 Tuesday special on that. Check it out, wt.buzz/BP. And don't forget about the morning wager available on both the WagerTalk and Picks and Parlays YouTube channels. Zeno and I gave out 3 free plays in MLB today, and we talked the NBA playoffs as well. Thank you guys for having me.
Beautiful stuff.
Nobody
Bryan Power,
Bundesliga's like you there, BP. Nobody.
Oh,
exactly.
Okay. Get out of here, Bri. Joe Ranieri, let's take care of some business, brother.
Boom.
Joe Ranieri, I got a really strong baseball bet up for my clients tonight. It is a totals bet, and I'm perfect this season in NBA in baseball totals. A perfect 7-0. I have not lost one single baseball total bet this year. 7-0. I have my 8th going tonight. Make sure to get that baseball total in. What do you got, my brother?
Yeah, locked in on baseball here, and I've got already getting out in front of a line for this weekend's first round in the NBA playoffs as well. That game will also be up here today, but coming off a hell of a weekend on the diamond, Prez, so definitely got a 4% top play available right now over at WagerTalk.com.
There you go, Joe. I regretfully have a funeral to attend. One of my best friend's wives' mother passed away. So I'm going to do the the NHL rundown and get out of here. But guys, again, please do not miss my baseball play today. Going for 8 in a row. Okay, NHL rundown. Let's get to it. Listen, full disclosure, NHL right now is rough. It's tough. I'm not going to be making a lot of bets. We're going to wait till the playoffs start. With that said, Tampa Bay is the play in regulation against Detroit. Detroit is done. They know it, and they got to be feeling pretty bad about it. Philadelphia playing Carolina. This is a crucial game for Philadelphia. They win, they're in. They're minus 120. I like them. Florida and the Rangers. I don't think anyone is scoring in this game. Take under the total of 6.5. Take Dallas, the Stars, in regulation against the Toronto Maple Leafs. San Jose is playing Nashville. Nashville must win this game. They have no choice. With that said, San Jose has won a couple in a row, and I don't think the San Jose team goes away. I like San Jose small in the spot. St. Louis against Minnesota. Minnesota playing for nothing here, nor St. Louis, but I think St. Louis gets it done at minus 130. I think Buffalo tries to win this game. They have a chance to win their division and conference, take the Sabres in regulation against Chicago. I think Edmonton gets it done. They need to win this game to win the division against a Colorado team that's playing for nothing. I think the Kings get it done against Seattle. And I think Vegas gets it done against the Winnipeg Jets team, who is now finished for the season. That's it for the NHL rundown. Joe, you got the MLB stuff and the best bets. I got to get out of here, my brother. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for doing this, Joe Ranieri. Lots of love, everybody.
All right, Prez. We will see you tomorrow here as we get ready for, let's do some Major League Baseball here. And it's going to start early here today with Houston taking on Seattle here in this spot. Kirby going up against Burrows. And I'm not expecting a ton of runs, at least early in this matchup here with these two pitchers. Although Kirby, it's not a great hitter's ballpark. We know that. Kirby has been known to maybe give up a long ball here or there. Burrows had a couple of rough spots, but he's actually done pretty good against these Mariners hitters who, let's face it, at this point aren't great. Maybe a first 5 under, or even, how about this? How about a first 5 team total under here for the Mariners there? The Diamondbacks and the Orioles. Now, this game, I'm expecting runs. Kudos to the Orioles having a nice weekend, and so did the Diamondbacks, too, with a couple of one-run games that they ended up winning there against the Phillies, who are going in the wrong direction. Nelson versus Crema. Crema's first start of the season here for Baltimore. Nelson's got roughed up, given the long ball up here in his first couple of starts this season. I like the over 8.5 there. I mentioned the Phillies. They can't hit water if they fell out of a boat right now. They have scored only in 3 of their last 45 innings. They've been shut out twice. They've lost 4 of the last 5. And listen, the Cubs, outside of yesterday's crazy comeback, have not been any better at the plates. Something tells me Sanchez versus Assad, we might have an under here tonight. Paul Skeens, first 5 under. You know how that works against the Nats. Yankees going through it right now, but they got Kikuchi taking on Will Warren. 9.5 is the number here. And, yep, I like the Yankees. I think the Yankees come back, but I like them better in the first 5. I think the Braves continue to roll here against Yuri Perez, who can't pitch on the road. I think the Guardians get the Cardinals. I think Crochet and the Red Sox get the Twins. I like the over with the Rangers and Athletics. And yes, I'm going to take an over with the Mets and Dodgers, even though the Mets can't seem to get out of their own way lately as well. As far as some of the best bets here on the board tonight, guys, I definitely think, kudos to the Atlanta Braves here for getting it done. Coming off of Sunday Night Baseball, demolishing of Tanner Bybee and the Guardians there. But the bats are really starting to get into effect. And listen, the Braves need to score 13 runs a game with how that starting pitching is right now. And at some point, Bryce Elder is going to come back down to reality. Grant Holmes, though, is a pretty nice addition. He was a pretty good find last year for a spot reliever and a spot starter that's actually had to work his way into the starting rotation because of the injuries, and he's done well. Yuri Perez, good in Miami, awful on the road. It's been his MO. He's given up a lot of barrels, guys, a lot of hard contact this year. And the way the Braves are rolling, no travel after last night. They're still at Truist Park. I like the Braves to get it done there after poor Sandy got lit up yesterday in that game against Skubal and company. Skubal had a no-hitter through 6, but I don't know that it's going to get any better for the Marlins here. I like the Braves. I also like the over in that spot there. All right, so we've got one Major League Baseball best bet there. I am going to have a couple of plays here, one for tomorrow in the NBA, but one coming up in the first weekend of the NBA postseason. There is one series that you need to bet sooner rather than later, because after the first game, you're not going to be able to get this price here. So that'll be available at my page at WagerTalk.com. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button here. Let's keep rolling in Major League Baseball. Again, don't forget, tomorrow we'll be back. Art the Caesar will be here laying it all out for you. Where the sharp money is coming in. What did the book see happening over the weekend? All the knowledge to make you, well, a little more profitable, and that is ultimately what it is all about. So appreciate it, guys. As always, best of luck with the plays here today. We'll see you again tomorrow on the best betting show ever. Good luck.